I know this is not a bra, it's the camera so you guys can see the steering wheel. I know what you were thinking. Today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different that we have been doing. Instead of working on the rust on the BMW, we're gonna be working on the steering system. You see, here in Michigan, this Saturday is the Dream Work. And I don't know if you're familiar with that means, but basically it's one of the biggest drive-by cruise, I think in the country. A lot of people from all over the place, they come, they drive their sweet rides, and everybody has a good time. So obviously, I want to take the Beamer in the cruise. So right now, I'm having like a weird vibration on the steering. So let me show you what I'm talking about. But first, we have to pull the wheel on, and we have to get it out of the stance. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, let me try to show you guys what I'm talking about, what's the symptom that I'm seeing as I drive. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna have to get in the freeway or something like that, because the shaking of the steering wheel, it usually happens about 45 miles an hour. So I might be able to get it before that, but I will start heading that way. So far so good. You will drive this car and you will think there's no problem. It's like a random thing. I feel like once again in a certain frequency, a certain, once it gets to a certain frequency, that's when it goes crazy, so as long as you don't get to that frequency, you don't notice it. Once you get to where it starts shaking like crazy. So let's see if we can make it do it. And it makes it pretty unpleasant to drive when it's shaking like that. Let's see, 40, 45, and we're good. So this time it didn't do it. To go a little faster. So check this out. You guys see that? As I'm braking, it's doing it, which it could be the brakes. But then that's what I thought at first. But the interesting thing is that it does it once you're riding too. So that's where the part that threw me towards steering. So, or bushings or something like that, something that, there we go, you see it? Start shaking, 70. So it's pretty bad. Hope you guys can, I don't know if you can see it, but you can definitely hear it. car is like we're on an earthquake or something. We're going about 75. Ball joints. That's what I'm thinking. Ball joints. Could be one of the wheels that is off balance. That could make it vibrate, but even you can see my face vibrating because the whole car is vibrating. It's pretty bad. I guess it could be a wheel bearing too. That is going so bad, because I mean, you can definitely, this car definitely needs new wheel bearings. But I never heard of a wheel bearing actually making a car vibrate. I don't know, has that ever happened? Has that ever happened to you? So right now it's pretty steady. I mean, the steering wheel, as you can see, is not really vibrating, but more the car is vibrating. But there is sometimes that the steering wheel just gets crazy. There is like, see if it's shaking a lot, it's getting worse. There you go. That's pretty bad. If you guys see that? So. Yeah, see, when I want to slow down is when that's at the worst part. Check these out. It's going crazy. Hope you can see it. See, when you turn, it kind of stops. When you turn, it doesn't vibrate as much, which it tells me that it's something that is definitely loose, something that is definitely worn. Look at this, when I brake is when you feel it the most, and I feel like that's when the wheels are torquing. So whatever bushing, whatever, you know, joint is not correct, once you apply the brakes and you feel that the car, you know, has that force. When the car has that force, that's when, you know, it goes crazy the most. So I think there is something there. There's something that we can tell there. Because braking really bad. Braking a lot, shakes a lot. So that also another thing that tells me is that if I brake and I feel it so much in the steering wheel, I think it's definitely something on the front end. So we're gonna be looking at the bushings, ball joints in the front. One of my cars used to have, one of my BMWs that I had, it had like a similar thing that you will get going, you know, you will kind of push it hard and then it will start vibrating like that. Pretty bad too. And then I later found out that was the drive shaft. So that's what I was wondering with this car, you know, if it could have been that, because I did notice it when I was going on the freeway, so I could say, no, maybe, you know, the drive shaft is done and it starts vibrating. But if I step on it like this, it doesn't really vibrate that much. Like, I don't feel it like I used to feel it in the other car, which was kind of in the back. You could feel it in the rear tires. So I don't think it's the drive shaft. I think, if anything, it's something in the front tires. Here we go, look at this now. I think as you drive it more, things get warmer, and then it starts vibrating. But this, I hope you guys can see this. It's crazy. Everything is shaking, earthquake! So we definitely don't want to cruise like this. So that's what we're dealing. Now that we have to go ahead and see what's really happening. Why is it doing that? So let's head back, let's raise it up, and let's see what we find. Okay guys, so we're back in the garage after our drive. And so I went ahead and I remove all 4 tires. You know, after driving it, I wanted to see what kind of things I could diagnose. You know, suspension stuff is kind of hard to diagnose without really moving or really seeing. So anyways, I went ahead and I removed the rear wheels and I started the car, looked at the drive shaft, and that was fine. So my next step was to remove the front wheels. And something that I didn't consider, that after researching a little bit, there's another failure mode that I didn't consider, that could be the actual brakes could be the problem of you know, getting vibrations. So I came here and, you know, I went and tried moving the front wheel, and this one, see how it moves really good. That's what you want. Then if we come in the other side, and we check this guy, guess what? Completely stuck. So this caliper is completely stuck, and that's what it's making our car shake. So it's impressive that the car just moves and goes 45 and so with a completely stuck caliper. That's crazy to me. So here we found a problem. Let's see if we can fix it. So guys, a quick tip to remove the caliper. I just spent, I don't know, at least an hour and a half trying to remove the bolts that they are on the back. This guy and the one below. And I just tried impact wrench, the trick with the two wrenches, just a breaker bar, a small one. I tried everything, and I see I have this long slug breaker bar. It's like, oh, I wish I could use this guy, but you know, I was here and I was hitting right here, and I was like, oh, okay, I cannot use that. That's too big. Until I was like, oh, I'm so dumb. So I turned the wheels all the way left, and when I did that, oh man, I feel so dumb. When I did that, look at this, free range. So if you're trying to remove these bolts and they're just not coming out, turn your wheel and, you know, make yourself a favor. So anyways, so I was able to loosen these bolts. Now let's go ahead and remove the caliper. Okay, so now with the bolts out, there's, I guess, 2 choices. So there's, I guess, 2 things that could be wrong with this wheel. It could be that the wheel bearing is seized. That could be one option. Or it could be definitely our caliper. So I remove both of the bolts. If this caliper comes out easy, it's because it's our wheel bearing. If it's tough to get the caliper out, it's definitely a caliper. So let's give it a yank. Yeah, definitely. See, our wheel moves easily, but our caliper is, you know, going with the wheel. So definitely it's our caliper. At least we know that. So let's use some prime persuasion and let's get that guy out. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, first good news of the day. These pads are basically brand new. It's good to know. So let's go ahead and take the pads out and see how the piston is doing. So there is our piston. It does look really rusty. In the outside is really rusty, so I don't know how it will be in the inside. But you know, this could be another victim of rust. So I got a tool. Let's go ahead and push it in, see how easily it moves, and let's go pump the brake, see if it comes out. We'll do that a couple of times. So I'm gonna be using this caliper clamp that I just rented from my local auto part. So the way that this guy works is you just twist the thread here, and that pushes the piston inward. So you just give it a couple of twists that pushes this, you know, rests against this side, and then pushes this guy to the right, and then it makes the piston go out. So I'm gonna push it as far as I can with this. So I have pushed it. I had, you know, twisted it as much as I could. It didn't go much inside, you know. So that tells me definitely there's some rust. It's just making it hard for this piston to travel. And you know, usually in good calipers, it doesn't take that much force. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna take this off, pump the brake, and then allow the piston to come out. So my idea is that, you know, help it move, and then that should, you know, clean itself out. The main reason why this happened to me is because this car just sits in my garage. You know, I don't drive it every day, so this is just part of, you know, sitting there not being used. So basically by pushing it in and out, I'm, you know, allowing it to basically be used. So after stepping a couple of times on the brake, it has come out. So I'm just gonna repeat this process, you know, a couple of times, and hopefully as I keep doing it, it will become easier to move the piston back and forth. So hopefully that will allow it to get unstuck, and hopefully we'll be fixing this problem. Okay guys, so things escalated kind of quickly last night, and this is the next day, and this is what happened. I removed the whole caliper out because, so remember how I was pushing in this and out? I think I pushed it out too much, and I wasn't able to push it in anymore. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if I can remove this all the way out, clean it really well, clean the race inside, and then see if I'm able to stick it back inside. So while trying to remove the piston, look what happened. It just broke into pieces. And as you can see here, I don't know if you can tell, but this is slanted. So it wasn't coming straight, and I think that's part why it has been so hard to take out. So if you're doing this yourself, make sure that piston is coming really square with the race. So I'm gonna take it the rest of the way, and you know, I'm just gonna have to replace it. So I saw a video in YouTube that they say that they got it out by, you know, pouring some air pressure in there, and this basically shoot out. I don't know if that's gonna work for us, but let's give it a try, see what happens. That was so freaking scary. But we got it out. We got it out. It finally came out. Let's see what's going on in here. So this just shows how you know, a little bit of rust, how much damage it can do. So it looks like there's this edge right here. You can see where it's rusted out, you know. This is where, you know, one side is like clean and then the other side is just super rusty. So, you know, I was thinking there was gonna be rusted way more inside, but it was just this lip right here. And then as far as the race itself, like the inside, it just looks great. It was just this edge right here what got rusted. That's crazy. Just between this surface and the top of the piston, that made it so, you know, I broke the piston, I broke a C-clamp, and I just bended everything else that I was trying to remove this guy, and just push it in just because of that little rust. So anyways, I already ordered one of these new ones. Let's go ahead and just, now it's all downhill. This was the hardest part. Although the clouds rapidly came over my clear skies and I couldn't cruise with my M3, I've found that there is always a silver lining. Like an Uruguayan drinking his mate in the pouring rain, I found my joy in spending time with my family, watching the cars cruise by, even in the midst of the storm. Next year will be clear skies, and the BMW will go back to its roots, flying through the Dream Cruise. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and see you in the next one.